One crime, 1,000 questions. Welcome to True Crime Briefing, where the truth is never buried for long.
She said she'd be quick, just grabbing a few things. But she never came back. A police dispatcher, a decorated officer, a volatile marriage. One final phone call. Then, silence. Her body vanished. Her car reappeared. And the man she feared the most? He had a story. But it was full of holes. What really happened to Teresa Parker would take years to uncover, and the truth was darker than anyone imagined. 911, what's your emergency?
I think my wife's missing. She never came home last night.
It started with a phone call, one that would unravel a chilling story of secrets, betrayal, and a desperate search that gripped an entire community. Teresa Parker, a 30-year-old dispatcher, a devoted wife, and a woman with dreams, vanished without a trace. But what really happened to her? And who was hiding the truth? Welcome back to True Crime Briefing, where we dive into the darkest mysteries and criminal cases that demand answers. Today, we're exploring the disturbing disappearance and death of Teresa Parker, a case that shattered a community and exposed a twisted truth. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for more gripping true crime stories. March 21st, 2007. It was a Wednesday night in Georgia. Teresa Parker had just visited her sister Christina. She was glowing, excited about her new apartment and a long overdue fresh start. At 10:30 p.m., Teresa made one last call. She told a friend she was heading back to the house she still shared with her soon-to-be ex-husband, Samuel Parker, just to pick up a few things. She planned to wait until he was asleep. No confrontation, no drama. That was the last time anyone heard from her. Born in 1965 in California, Teresa Fielding grew up in a tight-knit family. She was warm, kind, and deeply devoted to her siblings, especially Christina. She worked as a police dispatcher, first in Louisiana, then eventually as the supervisor of emergency services in Walker County, Georgia. Reliable, respected, loved. That's where she met Samuel Parker. Samuel Parker wasn't just a cop. He was a cop's cop. Tough, respected, a lawman through and through. But behind the badge, there was a history of violence. In the late 80s, his first wife, Kayla, reported horrifying abuse, dragged by her hair through broken glass, held at gunpoint, handcuffed to a bedpost, and no one stopped him. No investigation, no charges, just silence. In 1993, Teresa married Samuel Parker, unaware of the monster hiding behind the uniform. At first he was charming, funny, a gentleman, but it didn't last. Over the years, their relationship deteriorated into fear and control. Teresa endured years of emotional abuse and growing violence behind closed doors. In 2002, police were called to their home. Teresa had a red mark on her face. Her clothes were scattered across the yard. She said she'd scratched herself. She didn't press charges. But under Georgia law, Samuel should have been arrested. He wasn't. A year later, during a vacation in Florida, Samuel snapped again, threatening to handcuff Teresa, kill himself, and possibly kill her too. He fired a gun at the car window. Police detained him. And on the ride to the psychiatric facility, he said something chilling. "I could hide a body so well, no one would ever find it." They let him go 3 days later. By 2006, Teresa was done. She met with 2 law enforcement officials and begged for help. She didn't want him arrested. She just wanted out. She filed for divorce. And in March 2007, she found her new apartment. It was the beginning of her new life, but it would also be the end. March 21st, 2007. Teresa visited Christina. They laughed, planned, hugged goodbye. Hours later, she was gone. At 2 a.m., Samuel showed up at another woman's home and used her phone to call fellow officer Ben Chaffin. He said the words that would haunt the investigation for years. "I did something to Teresa. No one will ever find her." He warned Ben to keep quiet, or else. By sunrise, Teresa's phone rang once. Then silence. Teresa's car vanished, then reappeared. Her phone went dead. And no one, not friends, not family, could reach her. Days passed. On March 24th, a missing persons report was finally filed. The community mobilized. Search teams combed forests, flyers flooded towns. But nothing. As suspicion mounted, investigators zeroed in on Samuel Parker. His story was full of contradictions. His vehicle had been scrubbed clean, and when scent tracking dogs followed his trail, they headed straight into the woods. But despite all signs, one key officer, Ben Chaffin, remained silent about that damning phone call. The investigation stalled. Over time, blood was discovered in Samuel's truck, along with his DNA. It was enough. On February 4th, 2008, Samuel Parker was arrested and charged with Teresa's murder. Still, there was no body, no cause of death, just a mountain of circumstantial evidence. The trial began in August 2009. Witnesses took the stand. His ex-wife detailed years of terror. The prosecution laid out their case. Then, finally, Ben Chaffin came clean. He confessed. Samuel had called him, admitted everything, threatened him into silence. The jury didn't need more. Samuel Parker was found guilty of murder. Life in prison. No parole. But even then, Teresa's body was still missing. September 20th, 2010. A farmer near the Chattahoochee River stumbled on a human jawbone. By the next day, more remains surfaced. They belonged to Teresa. The mystery of her location was solved. But how she got there remained unanswered. Forensic experts couldn't confirm how she died, but the evidence was undeniable. Samuel's appeal was denied. His conviction stood. And for Teresa's family, the nightmare had a measure of closure. Her sister Christina vowed to make Teresa's story matter, to raise awareness, to speak out, and to stop domestic violence before it turns deadly. This wasn't just the story of a murder. It was a warning about silence, about unchecked power, and about what happens when red flags are ignored. Teresa Parker deserved a life of peace. What she got was stolen, but her voice lives on. You've been watching True Crime Briefing. For more chilling cases like this, subscribe.